Okay, so I'm gonna be answering the question, which plushie should I get first? I get this question spammed all the time to me, man. Happens in the streams, happens in the comment section of my videos. And I figured, you know what? Let's make a video out of it. Now, before we answer that question, you understand the algorithm sucks ass, correct? So I need you to go ahead and do your part. Like the video, dweeb. And for those of you that are not regulars on the channel, you can drop it whenever. Okay, so this is very important because to start off, obviously you get two characters to select from. That being Buddy and that being Cinnabon. Buddy is a machine-oriented character, high in efficiency, and his ability is called Golden Rush. It essentially completes a machine by 30%. He is strong for most zones because most zones heavily rely on the machines. Good for regular machines, good for tough machines. Can't go wrong with Buddy. I'd say out of the two, you probably get the most highest value currently at the time of this recording. To be noted though, he does struggle in the Doug zone as well as the Jelly Bell zone because those zones are more oriented towards speed characters. Though it's not impossible, so regardless of that, if you want machines, go with Buddy. Now, as for Cinnabon, she's more survivalist oriented. Very high in speed. She's got an ability called Hop Scurry, so essentially, you gain a speed boost as well as 25 stamina. I know it doesn't say on here, but that's what it does. So if you want to outlive most of your teammates as well as be less of a burden for the healers, this is your character right here. She is very good for the Doug zone as well as the Jelly Bell zone. Why? Because it's more speed oriented. Complete opposite of Buddy. However, as you know, she's not good with machines. And out of the two, I think she's the one with the least amount of value. Now, that's only true for now at the time of this recording because in the future, I think we may get more zones that are like the Doug zone in a sense where speed is needed. So she's got good investment. So anywho, if you're more survivalist oriented, go with Cinnabon. Again, I'm not picking for you. This is a decision that you need to make on your own. At the end of the day, it doesn't even matter because whether you pick one or the other is going to be available in the shop for 500 Dolly bucks. So don't feel like you're missing out on an opportunity here. Okay, now that you picked your first plushie, I know damn good and well you weren't here for just that. You wanted to know after you picked your plushie, right? Which is the first character that I should get. Listen, it goes back to the idea, man. I can't pick for you. You need to go with what's good for your playstyle. Are you more of an objective chaser? Are you more of a survivalist? Do you like working on machines? Or are you more balanced, doing everything of each? Do you like being support? There's so much, man. Now, keep in mind, these classes don't exist in Dolly's Factory, though I do like separating it into those categories just to make it easier for you. And keep in mind, there's plenty of characters here, but I will only be picking one per class. All right, so starting off, let's say you like working on machines. All right, so the best character for that, unironically, would have to go to Zoro. And what's good about Zoro is that compared to Buddy, he has a little bit more survivability, more speed, more stealth. Look at that comparison. Granted, you do trade HP and stamina, but I think the trade is well worth it. And what makes this character shine is his ability called Foxes. Create a clone that finishes a machine for you. You could be at two places at once. That's how wild he is. He is your breadwinner, your moneymaker. He is the best. In order to unlock Zoro, you need 2,000 Dolly bucks according to the wiki and at the time of this recording, as well as 50% research on Reject Zoro. So a little bit of grind, but not all too bad, especially since the payout is very insane. Do be wary though, on the tough machines, he does struggle a little bit. Not himself, more so his clones. I would recommend you complete the tough machine, right, the first set, and then once you get to the second set, which turns into the regular machine, so from gold to pink, then you could use the clone. And if you're wondering why, it's because if you use this clone on the golden machine, after it's completed, it vanishes. So do not use the clone on the golden machine. And that's all. Again, that's at the time of this recording. Who knows? He might get nerfed in the future, so be wary of that. Regardless, though, he is still extremely powerful. Two places at once. Okay, on to the next one. Survivalist. So, I'm being unironic when I say this, okay? This is probably your best choice. Cinnabon. Cinnabon is your best choice for survivalist. Number one, because, well, if you're starting off in the game, she's free. And if you decide not to get her, but get her later, she's 500 Dolly bucks. No reject research needed. You just pay 500 and you're set. you got the character. She's got good speed and stamina, and her hop scurry ability allows for her to run faster as well as regen 25 stamina. She is incredibly hard to kill, man. I still use her frequently to this day because she is good on the Doug zone, she is good on the Jelly Bell zone. So if you want a character with good value, easy to get, very powerful for survivability, Cinnabon is unironically your character. Holy. And to think that's a starter, but it is true, man. Okay, on to the next class. Let's say you want to do a bit of everything. You don't like orienting yourself just to one singular thing. So technically, the character that is the best would be... It's so tough for me to say. I think this one I may have to make an exception for too. I would go with Felicia. Now, you may be thinking, whoa, one of everything, that sucks. Listen, she is a character that essentially is a snowballer, as it reads with her ability Overruled. Collect stuffing to increase your level and gain massive stat boost. Taking damage reduces your stuffing. She can go as high as to level 10. That's 10 of everything, by the way. 10 bars of health, 10 bars of stamina, 10 bars of speed, 10 bars of stealth, 10 bars of efficiency. So she's not even just balanced, she's good at everything. However, as I really want to be cautious about this before recommending Felicia to you, she's a high risk, high reward character. As it says in the passive, taking damage reduces your level. You got to be extra careful when playing this character. So if that's not too big of a deal for you, well, here are the requirements. You need 2,500 Dolly bucks. You got to own 5 plushies. And you need to obtain 50% research on Reject Felicia. So yeah, man, she's pretty expensive, but she's well worth it. If you want to do everything, she's the character. Now, something that's a little more player friendly, because again, Felicia is super expensive. And since you're starting out, you obviously want something a little easier. Your best character for balance would unironically be Queenie. She's got decent speed, good efficiency, and god tier like stamina. She's got 2 abilities. The first one is Honey Snare, leaves a trail of honey behind that restores stamina and slows rejects by 50%. So even if you're out of stamina, pop that ability and you're safe. I guarantee you, you'll have a tough time dying. And in case things get bad, you also have your passive Honey Suit. Passively applies a 10% damage reduction. Good for machines, good for survivability. And in order to get Queenie, you need 2,000 Dolly bucks as well as 50% research on Reject Queenie. Definitely a lot more friendlier than Felicia. Okay, now, Objective Chasers. This is a little difficult to categorize because there's really only one character that sort of fits into that niche alone. There's other characters that do as well, but they more so bleed with survivability too. But nevertheless, your best Objective Chaser would be Doug. He's got good stamina, decent speed, and good efficiency. And what on earth do I mean by objective chase? Well, he can scan machines, as well as train parts during the Doug zone. So you'll know where everything is at. Now, keep in mind, this is a self-scan. And this is how his ability works. So, down and out, it's a stealth ability. Doug digs underground, becoming invincible for up to 5 seconds or until he resurfaces. However, secondary to his ability is his passive, Earth Sense. When underground, objectives are temporarily highlighted. You'll know where everything is at, and you'll likely be the first one to get to the machines, to the train parts, etc. Like I said, this category bleeds with survivability. Cinnabon can also be categorized like that. Triton can also be categorized like that. But I think Doug is your best bet because he orients himself towards that with his ability. Now, Doug is going to be a little hard to work with because, well, he costs 2,500 Dolly bucks. And you need 100, yes, the full amount of research on Reject Doug. So do be wary, it will require a bit of a grind. But if you're for objective chasing, then this should be no problem, alright? Plus, highly likely that you ended up picking Cinnabon anywho. So it won't be a problem for you. Alright, the last category. This is support. These are characters who are more oriented to supporting allies. So basically, you like playing in a team. You like keeping team up and supporting said team. Now, I have 2 options for you here, similar to the balance scenario. One of them is more beginner friendly, while the other one is, well, more so advanced territory. Your best plushie for support, it has to be Maestro. He is a meta Z tier character. Insane levels of speed, good health, his efficiency is astounding. May not look like it here, right? It's just 6. but he gets it all with his passive. So let me read these abilities to you. So first and foremost, his active, captive audience. Puppeteer your allies to give them a massive speed and efficiency boost. I mean, what more do you want in a character? Speed and efficiency? You help them out in the Doug zone, help them out in the Jelly Bell zone, help them out in the regular machine zones. You're a good support for everything. And it's a global support. Very powerful. And as if that weren't enough, you got your passive stage presence. Increase your efficiency the longer you stay on the machine. I don't remember the exact number, but the max efficiency goes up to above 100%. I think it's 125. I could be mistaken, but either way, really good snowballer there. But mainly, I would say his main attraction would definitely be his support capability. However, to unlock this character, first and foremost, you need 3,500 Dolly bucks. Yeah, he's very expensive. You need 75% research on Reject Maestro. And if that weren't enough, you need to own Spinette as well, which, mind you, Spinette requires 2,500 Dolly bucks as well as 75% research on Reject Spinettes. So that's more so for an advanced player if you're really willing to go through all of that. However, I have a more beginner-friendly option, that being Thim. Very good survivability, trash at machines. However, what makes him such a good support is his ability, Medic's Touch. This plushie has the ability to heal nearby plushies that they can see. Cooldown goes up by 10 seconds with every additional Thim. Now, if you're wondering what that HP is like, he heals for 20. That's a big amount. And his cooldown is 30 seconds. He is a really good support. And especially nowadays where they sort of nerf the frequency of the items, right? So shielding, as well as healing items and so forth. You come in clutch during big events where people take damage. I'm talking Jelly Bell Zone, Maestro Zone. You keep your teammates alive. And in order to obtain Thim, 1,500 Dolly bucks, drastically lower than Maestro's, and 50% research on Reject Thim. Not tough at all. That's probably your best support. Anyways, that's about it. I mean, I do hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope this answers your question on which plushie to get first. Again, it's very oriented towards your playstyle. I don't want to infringe on that, because if it were up to me, I'd tell you Felicia, all right? But I'd rather you have fun and work towards what you're most oriented towards. All you needed to know which plushies were best fitting for said roles. But anywho, with that, I'm going to be calling it here. Goodbye. Goodbye.